Ooh, boy, is it getting spicy on the right, y'all. It is getting spicy, spicy. So, as you all know, Ben Shapiro has really been going to town on Candace Owens, basically trying to excise her from the conservative movement. He's also been calling out people who've just been kind of neutral in this right-wing civil war, like going after Megyn Kelly, for example, among other people. And clearly, Ben Shapiro has noticed the rise of, let's call it what it is, Nazism on the right. Now, understand something. His only real issue with these people is that they're against Jews. That's his only issue with them, because he loves it when they're against black people, when they're against Hispanics, when they're against trans people. He loves that, but he doesn't like that they're against Jews. So it's kind of interesting, because as I've pointed out on the right, the civil war on the right basically boils down to, who do you hate more, Muslims or Jews? And some right-wingers say Jews, and some right-wingers say Muslims. And those are the sides that are fighting. Those are the sides that hate each other. So there's like a pro-Israel, anti-Israel thing in there as well. There's a Charlie Kirk thing in there as well. Like, do you think Charlie was killed by Tyler Robinson, or do you think something else happened, potentially some sort of conspiracy to kill him, right? These are like the dividing lines on the right. So Ben Shapiro went after Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro went after Tucker Carlson, and Candace decided to go on her show and reply. Now, by the way, let me point out, Candace is really being saved here by Ben Shapiro. She was also saved by Piers Morgan, because when she came out and basically said, like, I'm going to go a little softer on Erica Kirk, her own audience was in full-on revolt. All Piers had to do was say nothing. All Ben had to do was say nothing. And then Candace would have been stuck there going back and forth with her own audience. And I don't know if she's got the temperament or the ability to deal with a revolting audience, right? Like, I don't know if she's got the chops for that. So she, that would have been interesting if there weren't these other distractions that came about. So Piers went after Candace, and then her people circled the wagons again. Ben Shapiro came after Candace, opening up the door for her to go to town against him and rally her people back to her, right? So anyway, here is Candace Owens' response to Ben Shapiro, and buckle up for this one, man. This gets ugly.
I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks.
Bro, she held up a book that said the Talmudic Jew on it. What? So as Yashar Ali points out here, Candace Owens, responding to Ben Shapiro's speech at Turning Point USA, mainlines unquestionable neo-Nazi propaganda, including dangerous Talmudic conspiracies. Keep in mind that every episode of Candace's show is viewed or downloaded millions of times, and she has a top 5 news podcast in the country, Apple and Spotify, and is in the top 10 podcasts overall. She says that Jews were responsible for and or dominated the Atlantic slave trade. This is false. That the Talmud says that Jews hate non-Jews, that the Talmud says that Jews can exploit non-Jews, that non-Jews are animals, that non-Jews may be enslaved or owned, that deception of non-Jews is morally acceptable. She holds up a copy of The Talmudic Jew, a book by August Rohling, a notorious Jew hater whose work relies on mistranslations, selective quotation, and outright fabrication to portray Judaism and the Talmud as inherently immoral and hostile toward non-Jews. The Talmudic Jew is a polemical attack designed to promote collective guilt and conspiracy thinking about Jews. It was widely discredited during Rohling's lifetime. What Candace says in this video are core components of historic and modern neo-Nazi ideology, particularly the long-standing trope that the Talmud functions as a secret rule book governing Jewish behavior toward non-Jews. This rhetoric has been used by anti-Semites and neo-Nazis for over a century to destroy the reputation of Jews and to radicalize people into committing violence against Jews. Candace invokes the idea of Jews as contract lords. We'll get to that part in a minute, by the way. A coded allegation that Jews control or dominate others through contracts and legal agreements. This does not mean contentious legal issues, but everyday legal agreements. This rhetoric appears frequently in neo-Nazi propaganda. She repeatedly says, "Wake up," urging audiences to awaken to hidden truth about Jews, Judaism, and history. Wake up functions as radicalization cue, signaling to the listener or viewer that they are being welcomed into banned or suppressed information that they, the Jews, do not want the public to know about. This places Jews in the role of deceptive actors who are hiding the truth while making the listener or viewer feel enlightened. Hot diggity damn, son. She's not done. Here we go.
Because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? if he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hate, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us.
It's kind of amazing that Candace can attack Ben Shapiro and somehow make him seem sympathetic, because her attack is not actually just at Ben Shapiro. It's about the Jews more broadly. Like, no, you could just talk about Ben Shapiro. You are on super solid ground attacking Ben Shapiro in general. He supports genocide, for example. He supports Netanyahu, for example. He's a loathsome far-right piece of shit, for example. My criticism of Ben Shapiro is that he's far too Nazi-ish for my taste. But instead, you're out here trying to out-Nazi him. It's so amazing. How do you bungle this, bro? How do you fuck this up? Jesus Christ. Again, she held up a copy of the book called The Talmudic Jew. Jesus Christ.
That they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on.
Again, how do you manage to fuck this up?
Question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
I will say, the part about sort of faking engagement and faking views, that's actually true. There was an analysis I watched in a video where they broke down his views versus the comments on his videos. And everybody has everybody who's got a legit audience, the trends are similar. Like, you'll get a certain number of views, and with that comes a certain number of comments. And the line on the graph tracks, right? With Ben, it was like the views were all the way up here and the comments were all the way down here, indicating it's fake views, right? It's like what that comedian Whitney Cummings did. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Whitney Cummings will post a podcast. It'll get like 1 million views every podcast, but she'll have like 880 likes. And it's like, you do know that's not possible, right? That like, if you have 1 million views, you're guaranteed to have at least a certain number of likes and a certain number of comments. And she has like the comments and the likes of a video that has maybe like 5,000 views or 10,000 views, but she says she got 1 million views. I mean, it's botted, right? And Ben Shapiro, this part is true. Ben Shapiro, I think there was some botting going on. You know, he really tried to buy his way into legitimacy. You know, like that the Daily Wire spent a tremendous amount of money to elbow their way into the room, to force their stuff in front of you so that they became like a big voice in the conservative movement. But he's always been annoying as shit. He's always been a little fucking weasel and a little obnoxious, you know, teacher's pet style type kid. So he never was appealing, but there was a time where he did get more views, like sincerely got a good number of views. Now his shit is totally falling apart.
Of course, what followed Ben Shapiro on stage is somebody who Charlie Kirk loved very much, and who he fought for to the very end against the Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do. That is Charlie Kirk's true legacy, and that is Charlie Kirk's true friend, just as I was and am and will continue to fight and ask questions about who killed Charlie Kirk. And to people that are at home, I implore you to wake up to these people who believe that they are contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men. Okay? Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another. Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there, and you can find it. I think all of us need to wake up to this, because it's making me absolutely sick that he is so bold that he dare sit near Charlie Kirk's chair, that he dare grace that stage when Charlie Kirk knew exactly what Ben Shapiro was and will always be. So again, on your belly, Ben Shapiro.
Ugh. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Candace defended Kanye, his like, I'm going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews or whatever, Candace defended that. And Ben Shapiro had no problem with that at the time. It only actually crossed a line for Ben when Candace criticized Israel. That's when Ben was like, oh, well, that's unacceptable. Now you got to go. And so part of me wants to say, Ben, you made your bed, now you're going to sleep in it, right? Because you fostered all of this. You helped create Candace Owens, and now that zombie creation has turned on you. And as I've always pointed out, the thing about Nick Fuentes is he took the Daily Wire mindset and just said that plus one. All of that, plus I hate Jews, right? And so, they're really a victim of their own success on the right in some ways here. That they showed the roadmap. They showed it, it's monetizable to go after black people, to go after immigrants, to go after trans people, to go after all these minority communities, to scapegoat, to do culture war slop all day. And of course, at some point, people are going to find out that you do know at the core of all these conspiracy theories is that the Jews are the ones who are undermining white countries. They're the ones who are pushing on us pornography. They're the ones who are pushing on us race mixing and things like that. This is the core of the conspiracy. At some point, Ben, they were going to stumble upon the conspiracy of all conspiracies, right? And you helped push them in that direction. So here we are. Now it's come to life. And again, it is so crazy to me because when you're looking at somebody like Ben Shapiro, the arguments make themselves. I mean, he's fucking wrong about everything. He's still at this late date, always trust the billionaires guy, trickle-down economics guy. He's still at this late date a colossal warmonger. Like I said, supports Netanyahu in Israel. There's so much actual stuff there to hit him on. And Candace just, boils it down to Jew. I mean, again, disgusting. How many Jews are leading the charge against the Netanyahu government, against Israel, against genocide? How many anti-Zionist Jews are there that say, look, I'm just against ethno-states, full stop? But she had to make it about the Talmudic Jew, all Jews. It's just disgusting and gross. So now this stuff is out in the open, man. Now this stuff is out in the open, and it's very clear. And I don't think there's any putting this toothpaste back in the tube, and that has very, very dire consequences.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.